this had been tabled from the last meeting, we'll reopen it, the hearing, public hearing.
Well, we don't want the public hearing reopened. We just want you guys to deliberate and make a decision.
Well, I thought we closed it, but.
We
You
did.
did,
We
you
did.
did.
It was.
So
Okay, because,
the next steps in our view would be for the board to deliberate and make a decision on
alright,
the
because it said tabled petition here, that's why I thought
The-
it was tabled.
The petition is tabled, but the
Yeah.
public.
Right,
public
but the
hearing
public
is
hearing is
closed.
not,
Yeah.
Right.
okay. Alright.
Did Dwight give you any, nothing?
It wasn't him, I got a call from the town attorney, he couldn't make it, and Brian couldn't, oh, I don't know what it was.
Okay. So we haven't gotten any guidance from,
Well, what we have in terms of, the standard to follow.
okay. I was looking for, maybe more of an interpretation of the email exchange that happened between Dwight and somebody else. Yeah, this one.
I mean, if I could just chime in, I don't know if that's
It
okay
would, no,
to
this is
do.
kind of our work session,
Okay.
so we're trying to get through this.
Happy to follow the,
Because
whatever the protocol.
the past couple meetings have been till 11. So,
Understood.
personally, I'm ready. That's all I'm saying. Do you guys have any other questions about Delaware Solar?
We have a statement,
County has.
the county has? Did I miss that?
Yep.
Probably. Where was it?
The county wasn't, the county actually wanted to protect, or actually the county, for, I think it's in general, they want to protect agricultural lands that are still left and arable.
Okay,
That's kind of their stance,
okay.
to
Is
still
that in
down.
an email, you think?
It was in
In the-
research that I did, I know, I read it.
Wasn't it in packets also that was forwarded as per your request, I think Dwight had sent
It was something with the NEEF. I just looked it up the other day, as a matter of fact. Because it was around the beginning. Alright, so. Let's see resources here. FEEF Part 2 and 3 narrative, FEAF. And this is on page 5. And this is identification and evaluation of magnitude and importance of project impacts and determination of significance for this project. It talks about surface water, plants and animals, and then impact on agricultural resource.
Okay.
So it says in the October 24th, 24 letter, Ag and Markets indicated that the County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board did not comment on the Ag District NOI. But a letter dated November 15th of 24, but issued around November 5th, Ag and Markets provided an updated determination on the Ag District NOI because the County AFPB had provided comments on the Ag District NOI dated September 11th, 2024. As summarized in the November 15th Ag and Markets letter, the County AFPB raised concerns regarding, number 1, fragmentation of agricultural lands, number 2, farm management challenges as it converts the proposed site to non-farm use, resulting in the loss of land available for agricultural production. Number 3, the loss of productive Soils classified as prime if drained, representing a significant impact to agricultural resources in the county. And number 4, significant farmland conversion in the county due to the cumulative impact of solar developments. Ag and Markets disagreed and stood by their prior determination that the project would not have an unreasonably adverse effect on the continuing viability of farm enterprises
Can you
within the
read that again?
agricultural
Would not.
district. Would not.
Have an unreasonable.
Ag and Markets disagreed, because the county was saying that they're
Okay,
not in favor of it
Got it.
because of the lands. Ag and Markets disagreed and stood by their prior determination that the project would not have an unreasonably adverse effect on the continuing viability of farm enterprises within the ag district. In particular, they noted the project had conferred with the affected farmer concerning the needs of the operation, and the project was proposed in a manner which allows the farmer to access to the remainder of the field on the property, which would remain in agricultural production. So the letter kind of got lost, it seems. But then when found, that's what it said. So they also talked about the long-eared bat,
Yeah.
and that it's also in an archaeologically sensitive area based on the information from OPRHP-CRIS website, recommended this concern be evaluated as part of the secret process. But of course, we had nothing to do with the secret process because the town took it. They also said that sheep could be utilized to graze the array area, which would represent a form of agrivoltaics mitigation. Another alternative would be required the planting pollinator-friendly ground cover, which I think is part of the plan. Am I correct?
We graze in many of our fields, and we do pollination.
But this one's in particular, you're talking about putting in pollinators,
Yeah.
plants, pollinating plants. All right. So, get that flag. That's what they have to say, but I know that Ag and Markets and the Farm Bureau are there to protect the farmers as well. And they believe that the farmers have a right to sell property or to lease property to solar farms, wind farms, if they are no longer able to farm because of age and if their children are not interested in it.
so from what I'm gathering, to break it down to simple brain.
Yeah.
okay, Sounds like county is saying no, Ag and Markets is saying it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's pretty much the way I read it
All right,
too.
that's how I read it, all right.
But
great.
this is exactly what it says.
Okay, great, well, thank you for that.
All right,
Well, for clarification, those were decisions that were already made by the town as the lead agency under seeker.
correct. All right, so, anything else anybody has for Delaware Solar?
Just I went by a couple of solar farms when I was camping this past Memorial Day. And just some of them, just with the weeds and everything, they grow up there, that they've just not maintained on some of them. Not saying that they're the same,
Right.
but it's an issue. And they only had it, the max 6-foot fence. So now you're putting up this giant fence,
Yeah.
so that not even any of the wildlife will be able to just migrate through
Yeah.
that would have been, like just the deer and everything else.
I think they try to keep the deer out because they hurt, can damage the panels.
Mhm.
I think it's, especially ones with antlers.
So you're putting in, you're basically building the prison in the middle of the field that used to. So, I mean, that's the problems I have.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Snyder, seeking 2 area variances. He's the one over on James Drive that already has the site
Now,
prepared.
is that pool house part of the aggregate? That pool house that's existing, is that staying?
I believe so, yeah. He didn't say it was coming down.
So, cause I know there was like on the drawing, there was an extra shed that looks like it was removed, and he's already got all his site work done. and-
Yes.
He was given permission to
That's very
clear the
optimistic.
site because he had time constraints, but he was told no further than leveling the ground, clearing the site. If he
And
gets
putting all
denied
the
the
drainage
variance,
in and
he's gonna have to
sewer,
put grass seed back and remediate it.
Looks like he's got
So,
sewer and everything there.
so is he draining it into the sewer? Cause I saw the top of a
They got the
pipe
mushroom
cap.
vent, the vent
Yeah,
cap's in already.
Right.
For the sewer pipe.
Right,
I believe that was already.
it was.
I
Well,
believe
it looked
for the-
fresh.
the sewer
Yeah,
pipe.
that was all
He
part of
may have
that new,
extended it up, cause he may.
'Cause
have-
that's
It
a
went all the
new-
way down to the
some level.
ditch.
that's a new vent cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right inside the stone pad, or them big boulders.
I haven't been up there in a month.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's, if he starts sinking posts, is that gonna be an all fresh? You know, cause he's gonna be close to that edge and then
Can't
the,
have it staked either, just saying.
yeah, and then that pool house itself, he's above his allotted, 'cause he's only got like a 1 acre, 2 acre, less than 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's already over with his pool house, so that whole building would be added to the aggregate of outbuildings.
And I apologize, I missed the pool house, but,
That's why I was wondering if it was coming down or
well, I think
not.
it looks like it's gonna be
Yeah, that one's gone already,
this one
yes.
he took out.
Yeah, cause if this is that the pool? Yeah, cause that's there. This one's gone and that big pad's there, cause he extended his driveway around.
Yeah,
right.
So, I mean, the pool house itself is above they're close to it probably.
Yeah, I
On a
didn't,
1 acre lot.
I didn't check previous approvals for that as an accessory structure. It may have been small enough that he was told, don't worry about it, like we had another one recently that wanted a
it's
5
10 by
by
16.
5 by
It's
6
big enough
shed
that you have to get a
to
permit
put a
for it.
snow blower in.
That's a big barn,
For that area, I mean, on a 1 acre lot.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like when I pulled up and I saw the, I was like, whoa.
That's
It's
being
right
bring up,
here.
he spent a
Yes,
lot
I
of
know.
money to be, he spent a lot of money for a parking lot.
Went pretty far.
He apparently has toys he wants to store in there.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes,
I mean, it'll look nice from the renderings here, but,
but yeah, just the,
and then, and I
He's
think I
definitely
remember.
not going cheap with it.
No. With the application, he included the cupola as part of the height. If I recall.
I think you're supposed to, aren't you?
it's, yeah.
It goes to the peak if you got a cupola,
Okay,
it goes higher.
okay.
But I believe where he is, it's 18 feet,
Mhm.
and he needed additional height to get the cupola too.
So it's 23 feet, including the cupola.
Has he got big toys? Why does he gotta go so high? I mean,
Well, the structure will be utilized to
Yeah.
provide climate-controlled storage for existing and planned assets and equipment, as well as a future pet wash, because they have 2 dogs, and a bathroom utilized while using the pool.
So that makes you think, are they losing the pool house? It's like too far away from the pool to be, it's quite a ways away for that, or up over that stone and everything.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to get, you know,
Not that far.
electrical, plumbing is all gonna be included in the pole barn, it's not just gonna be the pole barn.
Here's the pool.
Yeah, there's a bathroom
It's
and
not
everything in the
that
pole
far.
barn, so.
No, but if you
Use
look at
that
it, he's
for a
gonna have to go
pool.
over all of them big
Yeah.
blocks, he just, and now when
Well,
he's
maybe he'll
sinking
build
poles,
a
he's.
bridge or a pedestrian bridge. You know,
The diving board at the end of it to get the pool.
there you go.
Or what was it, the one guy did the water slide,
Yeah,
oh my God.
Tony,
stalled?
yeah.
At least he's not putting it right next to the house so you can, you know, dive off in the pool.
Yeah,
I guess it's 10 foot 4 walls.
Must have an idea.
well, there's
It's
a
only
lot of
10
big
foot,
equipment
it's only gonna get a
there.
9-foot door in there.
He's got a tractor with a
Yeah,
cab.
it's 8-foot
Yeah.
door, you gotta.
Yeah, 'cause you
gotta
got-
have
unless you
2
got
feet of
close
clearance
tolerance.
over a door
Unless he
to
goes
the
tight,
top of the wall.
you can go like the super clearance doors.
Yeah, even a 28 horse LS. You're gonna be close to 9 foot with the top of the cab, it has a cab on it, so.
Yeah.
And if he gets a taller camper, Got room to park the camper in there too.
Oh, right here, 8x7 door, it's only 7-foot doors on, that's all on the front of it. So it's not even 16x7 door and an 8x7 door on the front of it, nothing on the end.
Did you figure out the rain?
Of course I did.
The rain lady.
Yeah,
And
and
then he strikes again.
I have to live up to my reputation.
There you go.
well, if you say he's utilizing that too, then
Yeah, pending the outcome of tonight's meeting, I'll stop up tomorrow and see him, make sure he's got his stormwater prevention, he's got his silt mats or strips down and have to keep the fines from washing away down in the ditch.
now is that's on, is that a separate lot there, or that's all part of it? It's all part of it, right?
Yeah, it's all part of it.
That's the
Okay,
whole
so
property.
it's all on there. It must, because a lot of them in through there, I think were a lot smaller.
And he's at the very end of the road.
Right, so it's almost like he must have, yeah, so it's almost like he's got a double lot, he must have bought when he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. 1.01 acres. All right, any other questions on that? The next one, Christopher Ford, 5868 Woodley Court. Boy, is that a nice road or what? That's a beautiful road.
Yeah, it's a nice area.
One of these days, I'm gonna be concerned with my van being on the Boston Facebook page. Anybody know this vehicle? Just, just because I'm hitting all these dead-end roads lately, like, I'll be on the safety watch.
There you go.
Facebook page, like,
So this guy's barn is even bigger.
yeah.
You know, his is kind of tucked in the woods more. And
It's not, he's taking those woods down.
Yeah, the only thing staying are the 2 trees next to the driveway.
And his neighbor said that he's
Yeah.
okay with it. I told him, you should get a letter from him, so we
Yeah,
can.
I'd say the same thing. I asked him too, because it looked like,
Camper, side by side, tractor, good.
because it looked like in the original plan, it was like 31 feet to the,
But he's
to the
got,
ceiling of the third, but he's actually sinking it in the ground too, he's doing foundation in it. When I said to him, I says, you know, because it looks like you're to here, you've still got all of that. He goes, no, that's to the peak of it. I
right,
says, okay.
and there's nobody behind him all the way down to South Abbott, and he does have 4.43 acres. So he has a lot, he's got
He's more, and-
more than 4
Land,
times
yeah.
as much
And-
land.
It's, there's only one neighbor that would see that one.
Right, and I said, well, how's your neighbor feel about it? He goes, oh, he loves it. He goes, he's fine with it, because he's got one too.
Everybody's neighbor always loves it when they don't have a letter from them.
I like the way the town measures the height of buildings, because by the building code, the residential code, you go half the distance from the eaves to the peak, and add that from the eaves to the ground, and that's the height of your building. They don't measure to the peak of the building. Because if you go with a steeper pitch, you're gonna have a taller building.
Right,
They go half that distance from the eaves to the peak, so if you've got eaves to the peak,
yeah,
is 6 feet, 3 feet plus 8-foot sidewalls, would give you 11 feet.
really?
That's the way.
Because I always wanted it, I actually asked them to change the application. I wanted to know what the height was and what it was at the peak.
Yep,
Because,
And that's the way the town law reads.
which is the way the town law reads? The way
To
you
the
just
peak,
said, or to the peak?
To the peak. Besides, I like that better, it's easier, it's more straightforward.
Well, that's why
Absolutely.
people know, and then the neighbors know that's what it
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
not the,
Because
oh, I went
we-
with a different
because-
pitch.
Oh my God, we got that place over on Allen, remember? The barn, and then the sheriffs came, they got into fisticuffs.
Oh, I think that was before me.
Yeah, that was when Bill Ferguson was still here,
I don't know.
and that was a mess. And he was a new guy,
Oh, I think
Remember?
I do remember this.
his name was Corey or something like that. He lived next to Mike Randall. Mike Randall came and spoke on his
Yeah.
behalf.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And I voted no on that one, because I said, that building is gonna block the sun from the sky for all the neighbors. And that's exactly what happened. And the guy next door, who drank occasionally, got into fisticuffs with him.
Hmm.
And he let him pick the color out of the building, you know, oh my God, it was, yeah. That's interesting. All right, so,
All right.
that's a big building. When I visited him yesterday, it was interesting because I said, man, I go, do you realize how big this building is gonna be? Like, it's massive. I said, I have a 60 by 84 riding arena, so I know the size. And he goes, yeah, he goes, I was thinking about doing it, I thought, well, I could do something smaller, he goes, but then I figured I'd regret it. So just throwing it out there.
Well, I wish I'd have made my shop at home 18 by 24 instead of 18 by 16. Never big enough. I need the bigger space for my grandsons to ride their electric toys on in the winter.
And then the Brookfield Properties, I had a call from Paul Zarnowski, the planning board chair. And he said that this is basically just a formality because of the bank's request. Everything has already been approved for the subdivision.
I say, that's already so far, they would have never got that far along without
Yeah.
it being, I mean, it just looks like it's gotta be another, what,
Right.
200 foot of road? It's,
Yeah,
Apparently Freddie Mac's regulations, they won't fund any more on that parcel. That's why they have to divide it into 3. And there'll never be any more building beyond the last one on the right into parcel 4 because it's all wetlands, like a horseshoe around it.
so
So
as far
unless
as
they
they
wanna
can
build a
go
sky
in.
bridge over it, they're not gonna go any farther. And I believe the attorney's gonna be here tonight to speak on that.
okay.
Even though there is in our zoning, if they've got a legal right-of-way easement to the far back property, they don't need frontage on the road. They just wanted, Freddie Mac just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so, that's no
I
big
figured
deal.
they got squashed before they got that far along with it.
And, well, they found out about the funding midstream on building. And they're doing everything that they need to do it right.
It's great, it's great change.
1 and 2,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
All right.
On a side note, if the planning board has anything that they would like to see updated in the code revision, we're about to get started on that process, so that we can kind of compile some notes, get them in there, so we can get a format for the next few meetings to get that done.
You mean the zoning board?
Well, the zoning section of the town laws.
Okay,
If
because
you
you
have
said if the
anything
We
planning
did
Before-
board.
that, we were
Clarify.
doing that committee there for a while, they
You
were
were, we had
updating all
Tony on it.
the, well, I was there too. We were updating on all of the, like some of the antiquated stuff in the books.
It kind of fell flat, so I've got a list of like a dozen things, more now. It seems like every day I come through some new stuff to clarify, to tweak. Like
Yeah.
the town lighting ordinance, thou shalt not shine light on your neighbor's property.
Yeah,
If I had to do that for one particular homeowner, I'd have to cite 90% of the people in town. I'd be known as the midnight lighting police. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna get shot at in the dark. At least in the day I can see them coming at me. But if you have anything you would like to see tweaked, please send me an email. I'll act as clearinghouse on it. And hopefully, I believe Ryan McCann, myself, Dr. Paul, Dan Johnson from LaBella, and Councilwoman Lukacek are gonna, be on the committee to try and get things moving forward. So, and I know there's stuff in there you've probably seen that make it easier if it was reworded or maybe reformatted in its own section. One of the ones is the soil bringing in.
yeah,
We've got a permit for it. We've got a permit and a section in the law about taking it out, but it's just in town board minutes about bringing fill in. That's got to formally be rolled in, so it's easier for the community to find that.
yeah,
So things like that, please let me know.
okay.
And we'll get that moving forward.
All right.
And then, of course, keep you appraised of what we do. I get you a copy, and then you can circulate it, or get Jen a copy, and you can circulate it to the board for comments on it, so we can do it once and do it right.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good.